Welcome back, Dodecadorks. We're the 12-sided guys. We have Matt as Pine.
Hi.
Scott as Rousse.
That's me.
Sabrina as Nari.
Hey there.
Jordan as Richter.
Good evening.
And me, Paul, as the super nostalgic guy who was trying to write something funny based off the number 99, but then just got caught up looking through all the songs that were popular the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway.
He was too busy looking at 69.
Yeah, I got the first number flipped upside down. No. Anyway, if you believe that this podcast is great, then slide on over and rate us 5 stars.
Yeah, why don't you just slide?
I still believe the hardest thing is just taking the 5 minutes to fly away from this episode for a few seconds and go leave a review.
Goodness.
You're thinking, I don't want to miss a thing. Just pause the podcast and everything will be smooth. Don't forget about our Patreon. And if you keep telling yourself you'll join someday, well, these are the times. So save tonight just a little time to do it. You'll feel like an all-star.
Somebody once told me. No.
For all of you who are already patrons, every morning I wake up so thankful because of you. I do cherish you.
That was like 4 in one sentence.
Oh, that was good.
Don't forget I sometimes stream on Twitch. Sometimes people will pop up in chat and I'll be like, who dat? But once you tell me your name, I will remember you.
Will you remember me?
We have a shop at 12sidedguys.com. This one's so bad. All right, here we go. We have a shop at 12sidedguys.com where you can get shirts, stickers, and steins, but no scrubs and no hats. I mean, we could have, but I want it that way because they were a little unpretty. Lastly, come chat with us on Discord. The link is in the description. Lately, we've been chatting about the Wild Wild West, that is the D&D OGL.
Wiki wild.
Well, there may be some scar tissue once the dust settles, but we feel fortunate for all the topics of discussion over there. From this moment on, I'm going to stop with the music jokes. Well, maybe one more. Anyway, if you ever busted into a castle and were like, where my girl's at? Only to be told she was in another castle, then this podcast is for you. It's the Crystal Codex episode 99.
That was gold.
That was amazing.
Anybody have any idea how many different songs there were in that intro?
It was a lot. I don't even.
That was, yeah, I don't know, man.
I'm guessing 25.
It was at least 25.
It was 24, unless you count one of the U's, Y-O-U, that is just randomly in there as number 25, which I feel kind of bad about doing, but apparently there was a song called You in 1999.
I do. I count it.
So yeah, you guys are right. 25 out of the top 100 songs I got into that intro. Ah, that was fun. All right, you guys. Well, hey, welcome back to the Crystal Codex episode 99. Last time we were together, our party, I was going to say Sabrina and the boys, Nari and the boys 2.0 were flying in this big boat of an airship. Literally, I guess it is a boat. A big tub of an airship. Yeah. The brass butterfly on their way from the city of Almar to Colinium, the capital of Menorese, where there have been rumblings of earthquakes and tremors. And the very first night out of Almar, as everyone was asleep, Rousse got a surprise visitor. Thankfully, Nari woke up and went to go check on everybody and saw that Rousse's ex-boyfriend, Theron, the hunter from Howling Talon, was standing over Rousse's body, ready to whip him and club him into submission.
He just can't get over me.
Without consent. We should specify without consent.
Yeah. I used the safe word and he didn't listen.
Yes, you did. So after a fight with Farron, another combatant entered the combat and passed by Richter, but it was actually the butler from Renato Pello from Kelta, the rich man who also did all the horse racing. whose mansion was half burned down as Ebby left. I don't know if anyone else remembers that specific detail.
Oh, yeah, I remember the arson.
Yes.
Did I do that?
Who had sent his butler Azario, as well as his cook Mona, after the man from Menorese, as well as his tall red-headed bodyguard, his manservant, and then also the clunky deacon, who seemed to be malfunctioning as it tried to hide underneath bleachers and things like that. Anyway, Azario, the butler, came to help Farron in the fight, but quickly Farron was subdued, and Azario looked like the tables had turned on him as well. Richter, on the other hand, started to go up the stairs to see what was going on the deck when he was blasted with just these powerful spells from the cook of Renato Pello, Mona. Yeah, blasted him to less than 10 hit points, if I recall correctly. But thankfully, Richter is a warlock and hosed her, just destroyed her in one round. So Mona was dead, Farron was captured, and Azario, sensing that the time was right for him to escape, cast a darkness spell, started speeding out of the airship, and then managed to avoid the attacks of opportunity and jumped over the side of the ship.
No, I crit him on my attack of opportunity.
Did you?
Yeah. I did like 50 damage or something.
Because also, didn't Lady Jaffa's essence came in and made you miss one of those times?
Yes, but then the attack of opportunity, though, I did crit.
Okay. Regardless, he still had a little life left in him, and he jumped over the side of the ship. After that, there was some discussion about what to do, and the captain of the airship apparently had been ensorcelled by Mona, but you had decided that since Farron was knocked unconscious and he was probably going to be out for the duration, you guys would let him rest as you guys got some sleep, and in the morning you were going to, I believe, give him one crystal of Featherfall and throw him over the side.
Naked, with a dagger.
Well, I mean, I just threw that out as an idea, but everybody was like, yeah.
Well, that's where we left off last time. And so, at this moment, the sun is coming up over the horizon. And up here in the sky, amongst the clouds aboard the Brass Butterfly, light comes streaming in to all of the rooms, because you all are on exterior walls. And light comes streaming in through the portholes of your rooms, and you all start to wake up. Rousse and Pine, you guys have a room together kind of at the rear of the ship. And as you guys wake up, you can also hear a moaning and kind of a tossling of Farron as he begins to come to as well. He is bound. You guys didn't necessarily move him, I don't think. So he's still laying on the floor next to Rousse's bed. And that's where we're at right now.
He did have some wadded up like sheets underneath his head.
Okay, and you took off his armor, you took his whip, you took his blackjack, and you took his bag of crystals.
Yep, all the things.
I was going to try to make a joke about every morning and there's a halo, but it's not my girlfriend's four-post bed.
Yeah, it's my narcissistic ex-boyfriend.
Paul got my mind thinking about music from the late 90s as opposed to D&D from right now. Morning.
Well, that was an eventful night. I'm glad we survived.
I'm glad he survived, honestly.
I am too. I don't think I have it in me to actually kill him.
Well, it sounds like he's coming too. Shall we each grab an arm and take him up to the top? Do you still want to do that? Do you still want to?
Yes.
Toss him overboard?
That's the plan.
I guess we should make sure we're not over water.
Let's go talk to the captain.
I'll grab one arm. You grab the other, or you can grab his legs, or whatever.
I just realized that we're the weakest members of the party.
Well, again, to be fair, I'm pretty sure that we're all equally weak except for Nari.
That's true. She is jacked.
I work out, dude.
Are you guys all equally weak?
I have an 8 strength, yes.
I also have an 8 strength.
I also have an 8 strength.
Yeah. Dump stat.
You guys all have your dump stat as strength. Oh, that's so good. Maybe as the DM, I should know this stuff. Oh well. I trust you guys to know your characters.
It's why I always fail my strength saves.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, okay. I imagine you guys go and get Nari to help drag Farron up onto the deck. As you guys kind of come up the stairs onto the deck of the Brass Butterfly, the stairs get a little bit slick as you get to the top. Apparently, it had rained at some point over the night, and there's also some condensation, some dew on the decking. But you can see sailors climbing around in the rigging, tying lines and that kind of thing. And you also see the captain is still standing at the tiller, or at the wheel. He sees as you guys come up, and he kind of just nods at you, and then keeps flying the ship.
It's a good thing we had that rain. I mean, look, it washed away all that old lady blood.
Oh man, we really needed that.
You can still see a lot of old lady blood.
Wow, she bled a lot. Jeez.
Apparently there's like 9 pints in the body.
She was so withered and old, though. I figured, maybe 6.5 pints,
Like an old crumpled water bottle.
Does anyone else seem to think the captain is taking this surprisingly well?
I think he's kind of angry about what she did to him. At least, maybe I'm taking that for granted.
I gave him a little bit of money.
The captain does seem, last night he definitely seemed very grumpy about having been ensorcelled.
Well, is Farron awake?
Farron, his eyes are kind of rolling. He's kind of like, you can see his eyelids fluttering, but he's not actually awake. He's kind of coming to, though.
I can piss on him if you want.
No, that's all right.
Oh my gosh. He didn't get stung by a jellyfish.
I'm just talking about waking him up right in the eyes.
All right. He's okay. Yeah. He actually, as you guys get up to the deck, I think the light kind of hits him in the face, and you can feel him kind of recoil, and then kind of start to open up one eye.
As Nari's white butt reflects the sun into his face.
He's like, no, please, no. He's like, what? He looks over at you guys. He's like, oh. So, I see my plan didn't work.
2 things to say to you, and then we're going to push you over the edge. The first thing is, I have friends, and they take care of me in a way that the Howling Talon never could. And it's because of them that we have you in this position. Perhaps you should reconsider your stance from our last discussion. And the second thing is, taking all your gear, you can have this crystal, and hopefully you recognize it.
His eyes get wide when he recognizes what crystal you're handing him.
And finally, this is Sparta.
And you just boot him over the side?
Yep, and I just push him over the side.
Oh, and he's like, wait! And he's gone.
I don't want to see you again.
Oh crap, here's the crystal. You throw it down at him. Sorry, I forgot to hand it to you.
I think you should see other people.
Yeah, you can tell that you guys are still over land. It's going to be a couple of days. It's probably like halfway through the 3rd day before you get to the new strait, I think is what it's called, between Menorese and Racolia. It used to be connected. Menorese or Colinium province used to be a peninsula that kind of came off the west side of the continent. But after the shattering, the isthmus it collapsed in. I don't know. I'm throwing out random geography terms. Anyway, it collapsed in, and then now there's a strait.
Into the bay.
There's a narrow. Yes, there's a narrow sea basically between Menorese and Racolia, and so it's going to be at least another day and a half before you get to that strait.
And now it's an archipelago.
Nice job losing that dead weight, Rousse. Nari will kind of slap him on the back.
I'm glad to be done with him.
As you guys are kind of talking and congratulating each other, you can see that Gerard and Porthos are up on the deck. Porthos is getting some sun, and Gerard is just kind of like scratching around behind his head.
Ex-boyfriend came uninvited, tried to sneak into our room.
He just kind of nods and gives you a thumbs
didn't
up.
Work.
Hey, Porthos. No, not Porthos. Hey, Gerard. We've come into some money recently, and we're wondering if we could see your wares.
Oh, my friends, yes. I'd be happy to show you what I've got. Come on over here. And then he starts pulling stuff out of the back
Are the rest of you ready to do some shopping? I mean, it's the beginning of a chapter.
I'm always ready to do some shopping.
Technically, isn't this episode 4 of the chapter?
Yeah, it's true. Man, this is flying by.
It is flying by. What I was going to say is Gerard starts pulling things out of the bags off of Porthos's back. One thing you've recognized about Porthos is usually he's always got like the saddlebags just strapped to his back, and he doesn't seem to care, doesn't seem to mind. It's just kind of part of him. It seems like not like literally part of him, but you never see him without gear strapped to his back. So let's see what Gerard has for sale. It has not changed.
Before this happens, Paul, I want to use my trained senses. Okay? So, is Porthos undead, celestial, or fiend?
Porthos is not undead, celestial, or fiend. No, and neither is Gerard.
Oh, Jesus. I did not like the way he said that.
I was thinking maybe he was an angel.
Porthos is not undead, celestial, or fiend.
Porthos is the big bad. We're all going to have to end up killing Porthos.
Is Porthos one of the lords and ladies, though?
Oh my gosh, you're onto something.
Yeah, no, I think he is. I think he's the lords and ladies in disguise, and we're going to just have to get him.
He's the lord of floofy animals.
Oh, the floofy boy lord.
Oh, yes, the floofiest. Don't forget, you guys also have things to sell if you want to, okay? Potions. There are some healing potions. He's got 4 regular healing potions. You guys already bought all of his greater healing potions. He's got an elixir of health. He's got a potion of heroism, a potion of growth, or reduce, either way. Potion of spider climb, potion of speed, potion of blink, and a potion of force, or a bead of force. And then he's got an ever smoking bottle, rope of climbing, staff of withering, a bag of holding, a pair of movable rods. He's got a ring of the ram. He's got the horn of Valhalla silver. He's got cloak of the bat. He's got an animated shield, and he's got gauntlets of ogre power and a wand of magic missile.
What does the cloak of the bat do?
The cloak of the bat, it lets you fly in darkness.
I am Batman.
Oh my gosh.
It also lets you here.
Turn
let me
into
just
a
make sure
bat.
I'm telling you. Yeah, it lets you turn into a bat for an hour. We had an interesting campaign a couple of years ago where somebody had the cloak of the bat, didn't tell anybody, and turned into a bat, and then was trying to get everyone's attention as a bat. And then one of the other players swatted it, dealing 2 points of damage, and then he came out of bat form and couldn't use it again till the next day. So the cloak of the bat, you have advantage
On a night that we needed it for recon.
yes, most definitely, 100%. Anyway, while you're wearing it, you have advantage on dexterity stealth checks. And then if it's dim or dark, you can actually grab the edges of the cloak and you can fly at 40 feet. But if you let go of the edges of the cloak, you will fall. Or if you leave like the dim or dark light, then you'll also fall.
So you can't fight while flying because your hands are full with the cape.
Exactly.
Or
So
if
this
you're
is
flying, Paul's going to cast sunlight at you and make you fall to your death.
What is that, a bat? Here, let me get out my red candle and cast daylight.
exactly. Just there's lots of possibilities, right? Anyway, and then also while you're wearing the cloak in dim light or darkness, you can use your action and cast polymorph on yourself to turn it into a bat. Now, when you are in this form, you do retain your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, but it can only be used once per day. So that's the cloak of the bat. That's Bruce Wayne's cape.
Remind me of the bead of force. How much is that?
Bead of force is 960 gold pieces.
And it casts what, force cage?
The bead of force, I think basically you use your action to throw it up to 60 feet, and then it explodes on impact. And if you're within 10 feet of it, you have to make a dexterity 15 save, or you take 5d4 force damage. And then a sphere of transparent force then encloses you for a minute. If you failed your save, you're inside, and you're completely inside that circle, then you're trapped in the sphere. And then you can breathe in there, but no attacks or other effects can get through it. And then you can push the sphere from the inside or from the outside.
It's a hamster wheel or a hamster ball.
Basically, yeah, it's a hamster wheel. And it only weighs 1 pound. So you can trap like 3 or 4 guys in there, and then one person can pick it up because it only weighs 1 pound, and then just throw it off a cliff.
wait for 55 seconds, then toss it.
We do like throwing people.
Apparently.
But it's a one and done, right? So even if I miss,
One and done. Yeah.
if I miss or they make the save, it's just gone. That's a lot of money for a lot of ifs.
It is. And if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, I don't know the rest of that line because Homer Simpson didn't know the rest of that line.
We'd all have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah. So any other questions?
How much is the animated shield again?
The animated shield is 6,000 gold pieces.
Okay.
I can pitch in toward that.
You have things to sell, potentially.
I want to know about the staff that we got from Tiberius. Do we ever figure out what his stats were?
You did not. You didn't spend time with it. But you do have somebody standing right in front of you who can cast Identify for 100 gold pieces.
It's like pocket change. Hey, Gerard, what is this? And whoever has the staff, I'll point to it.
Yeah, Sabrina has it. Actually, Nari has it.
Hey, can you tell us what this thing does?
Who's paying the 100 gold?
I'll do it.
Yeah, okay. Nari, do you hand over the staff?
Yeah, absolutely.
You hand over this ornate, dark staff with like metal kind of filigree and like bands on it. It looks very well made, very ornate. And you hand it over to him. And as he's holding it, he pulls a little pearl out of his pocket and starts rubbing it with his thumb. Remember, he's also wearing a witch's hat and boots with the fur in case you need that visual. As he's rubbing this pearl.
And he's chubby Morgan Freeman. So
and he's chubby Morgan
Chubby
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman with a witch hat and furry boots, rubbing a pearl and looking at a staff.
Classic, as he does.
We have gotten him all of his clothes.
Pretty much. So as he's holding,
let's see if he wants Farron's clothes we took last night. He'd look quite sharp in them.
I don't think they'd fit him. So he's kind of rubbing the pearl and looking at the staff, and then he hands the staff back to you, Nari, and he says, "This is a very elegant weapon. It hits with some very powerful force. In fact, it is a +1 maul that also deals an extra D6 force damage with each strike.
Oh, so it's just a 3d6 weapon.
It's a 3d6 weapon.
Wow.
And he says, in addition, there is some power here in this staff. Remember, when he's saying staff, it's actually a maul for game terms, but it looks like a staff. There's some power here in this staff. It seems that once every day, every dawn, it gains the power to blast an enemy with force and push them back, but also dealing some damage. Basically, it once per day, you can shoot up to 60 feet, and you can hit somebody with a blast of force that does 3d10 force damage and pushes you back 5 feet.
That's awesome.
So it's quasi Ring of the Ram. Ring of the Ram has 3 charges. It deals a little bit less damage, but you can do it 3 times. This is 1 charge, deals a little bit more damage for that 1 charge, but it's only 1 and done.
It's really too bad it's not an axe, though. Could we make the staff into the haft of an axe?
Chubby Morgan Freeman just says, "Oh."
Oh, if only Dordan were here.
He says, "My friend, if there's enough money, you can do anything."
It's true. And honestly, there's some fabulous weaponsmiths in Menorese.
That is true. We did have some phenomenal weapons masters.
Well, you're wielding a Menorese weapon. Mine was at one point a Menorese weapon.
Oh, was it really?
This used to be my officer's saber, but then I combined it together with one of those flimsy foil swords that I got it from a girl I was dating for like a day.
Oh,
That's embarrassing.
Yes, and then honestly, we took one of the adjudicator's swords, and there was a smith in the mountains who combined it all together, and now I have my ambassador's blade. Level 3.
Is that a +2 or +3 to its dice roll, or?
Oh, honestly, no. It's cold. It makes every attack makes the target chilly.
Oh, well,
They crave a sweater and some pumpkin spice latte.
That's ferocious.
I'm cold just thinking about it.
You monster.
Anyway, I'm just wondering. That staff is amazing. I'm wondering, mechanically, if in this world D&D were a thing, it's much more powerful than the current axe that Nari's wielding. But I'm wondering if we could combine them together in some way, like we've done with other weapons, so that you could get the benefit of that, but still have your, the weapon that you care about so much, Nari.
I do love my axe, but if it comes to protecting us versus my axe, I guess I could probably give her up.
Or we could sell this for lots of money.
Yes, I would buy it for lots of money, yes.
How much money, in fact?
He starts looking it over again, says, I'd give you 6,500 gold pieces.
Wow.
We could trade that for a couple of movable rods and then have some left over for some... Oh, you wanted the shield.
Trade this awesome weapon over for some immovable rods. Yeah, cool.
Look at that inanimate carbon rod. There's your Simpsons quote from me for the night. Did you actually get to see the rod?
Could you imagine, though, an immovable rod on the real planet Earth? You push the button and it stays in place, like, permanently. But then what's...
Like, immediately starts traveling 17,000 miles per hour relative to you?
Exactly.
I know. Or even more, depending on what if it's referencing a place farther off in the universe.
Yeah. That's terrifying.
Good thing that Pavantis is a plane. Oh, no, it is a globe. Oh, no.
No.
All right. Well, there was also, just so you guys remember, I don't know if you guys remember, you also have a spell book that you took off of Mona that you can sell.
Oh, that's right.
I know it was rather heavily inscribed. Is there anything special or unique? Is it possible to make like another Arcana check or something? Just to...
I'd let somebody else make it.
Okay.
Sorry, you did fail.
I did.
Let me take a look at that. I'll give it a look over.
Yes, please.
That's a 7. I roll so many 7s. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Lucky number 7. All right.
Yeah, but it's funny because that is exactly, I'm looking back here at the numbers. That's exactly what Richter rolled for his roll. Was a 7.
It appears to be a book that's somewhat inscribed.
That's what I said. That's amazing.
Gerard sees you guys talking about this book. He's like, I could look at it for you.
How much for the old lady book?
He starts looking through it and paging through the different pages. And as he gets towards the end, his eyes start getting bigger and bigger. And he's like, I would give you 4,500 gold pieces for this.
Sold.
Yeah, it seems like he let out his secret.
Gerard, never turn against us.
Okay, 4,500 gold pieces. He hands it to you guys.
Cool.
And now Gerard is in possession of at least one level 9 spell.
Oh.
I was just going to say, have you guys no haggling ability? Jesus Christ.
I trust Gerard to give us the best deal every time.
He literally popped a boner for this book.
I mean, Gerard is our best customer. Who are we to argue with him?
Yeah, that's not smart people.
Here's what I would say. If you wouldn't mind, could I use the 4,500 gold plus some of my own to buy the animated shield?
Oh yeah.
Well, done in a deal. Yes.
So here, you take the book plus 1,500 gold, and we'll call it a deal.
That's a deal. And he shakes your hand. Congratulations. Great. Okay, you have a animated shield, a dancing shield. I believe I described it as having like a figure of like some kind of like a dancer in a like a kind of a flowing pose inscribed on or emblazoned on the front of the shield.
Like a dancing queen on there?
Dancing queen.
All right. Gerard says, I'm afraid that I'm a little short on cash. I won't be able to buy anything from you anymore, at least not until we get to Colinium and I can start to sell some of my wares. But if there's anything that you are interested in that I have now besides the shield?
I would like all the rest of your healing potions and that the potion of enlarge reduce.
Okay. So the rest of the healing potions, 50, that's 200 gold pieces for 4 potions of healing. And then the enlarge reduce potion is 270 gold pieces.
Deal. 470 for the lot. Okay.
Why are these beads of force all connected with one string?
If you have to ask, you probably don't need to know.
I'm sorry. No, it's fine.
I've noticed they're also incrementally larger as they go. I don't understand. Is the last bead the most powerful? The most potent bead of all?
Yes. Yes, it is.
I'm pretty sure yes, it is.
So if you get all the way to the last bead, that's like an accomplishment.
I know I would be impressed.
I could handle that. I could get to the last bead. I'm powerful. I can do anything.
All right. Anything else anybody else is interested in, or is that it for shopping?
After I've purchased all those things, I'll say, you know who's a little lonely and could use some company? Crumbles. And I'm going to spend the time to summon Crumbles on the deck so he can hang out with Porthos.
Oh, Crumbles. Fantastic. We haven't seen Crumbles for a while either. Yeah. So after about 10 minutes, then there's like kind of this, I imagine this kind of mist kind of rolls in out of nowhere and kind of obscures part of the deck for a little bit. And then you hear this, this bugle call from Crumbles that you haven't heard for a while. And then out of the mist steps this beautiful Alaton with Aurora Borealis colored fur and this crystal horn coming off of his nose.
Hey, good boy. Hey, look who it is. It's Porthos. You should go say hi.
Yeah, Crumbles kind of prances up to Porthos and gives a little sniff, and Porthos kind of looks over and kind of gives a little harumph. And then Crumbles, I think, kind of curls his legs up underneath him and kind of rests and lays down next to Porthos as Porthos lays down on the deck.
I can't tell you how many people have given a kerumph to, so that makes sense.
Well, as you guys are finishing up selling, Gerard hands you guys an egg and says, "Here you go, on the house." How many Porthos eggs do you have at this point?
Oh yeah, where's that omelet bar? We were told there was an omelet bar on the ship.
There is definitely a mess hall. The captain actually hears you say, "Oh, you're hungry? Yes, down below, at the front of the ship, at the bow of the ship."
There's a galley. Don't they call it a galley?
Yes, we do. I call it a mess hall because people on this ship don't know other words.
Well, we sure have an omelet to share with the boys.
I'm pretty sure Rousse has like 3 that he purchased back in Alma before we left.
I sit on them at night, and I secretly hope they'll hatch.
And they might, Bruce. And they might.
I desperately want to be there to make sure they imprint on me.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Hey, Richter. Hey, Richter, do you think that we need to have the talk with Rousse? You know, like the birds and the bees?
The birds sit on their eggs.
Yes, that when the birds come, the bee must sting swift and true right into the heart of the beast. Slay it there permanently. This is the way of nature. Pesky birds.
That is the way of the birds and the bees.
Or better yet, use your bead of force on that little bird.
that bird up.
Guys, no, okay. So, hey, Rousse, Porthos, he lays he lays eggs and all that, and it's bizarre. But typically, there needs to be 2 parents for the egg to actually hatch.
Oh, Gerard says, "Oh no, this isn't how woolly oxes are born. This isn't. No, this isn't like a baby woolly ox.
Oh, what is it, like an owl pellet or something?
Well, but yes.
Oh, gross.
Oh God, no, why?
Oh, gross. It's like ambergris from like a whale. It's like the phlegm stuff. Ugh.
As you guys are talking with Gerard and doing all this buying and selling, you hear the captain up ahead say, "Oh, we're entering the dead zones."
What, no cell stone service here?
I hate it when there's no cell phone service. Who am I supposed to text?
As you guys are flying further west, you see running in a straight line from the northeast heading to the southwest.
Oh, crap.
This strip of desolation that cuts right across Ricolia, straight as an arrow. And you recognize what happened when Ebby awakened all of the Ormex. And the mood up on the deck gets very somber amongst the sailors and amongst the captain. And even Gerard kind of he takes his hat off for a second and kind of looks over the side. Almost like an eerie feeling kind of washes over the ship. Because most people don't know why this happened. They just know that it did.
Pine will go to the gunwale and he will just look out back toward the facility where all this happened. Kind of tracing the line with his eyes, silent and remembering.
Richter, I imagine you see Pine's reaction. I mean, you see everyone else get kind of somber, but everyone else is a little bit more, I imagine, kind of scared and on edge. And you see Nari and Rousse and Pine have a little bit of a different reaction, especially as Pine has described his reaction. You see the captain is up there and he's gripping the wheel with both hands. And he just says, we passed over one in the middle of the night. On the way to Colinium, this is the only other one that we're going to cross over. But I do hate these dead zones. We'll be through it soon enough.
Rousse lets out the most awkward bird call.
Caw!
Oh. Pine weeps.
I imagine that even Crumbles bugles. Porthos lets out a moan.
You bring us way down and then you bring it right back.
It was a sad moan from Porthos. One of the few emotions you've ever seen him display besides hunger, or I guess not even hunger. Contentment, I guess, is the only emotion you've ever seen.
Well, I believe Ebby had a rousing conversation about Crumbles as a potential mate for Porthos at one point. But none of you were there for it, so none of you know that, so screw you all. So Richter walks up kind of along the rail near Pine, and sensing that clearly this is like a solemn moment in a way, he very gently kind of tries to broach the topic and just try to confirm, his recollection of what he's been told. And he says, so this was the result of essentially the sacrifice of your companion, is that correct?
This is part of the cost that the world paid to free the Ormec people, yes. But I say part because it was only part. Ebby's physical form is still out there somewhere. Raging, angry, confused.
Is this something that we should, that perhaps sometime we should try to seek out and put to rest?
I think that might be a good idea. I dare not hope. But part of me part of me is wishing that the brilliant minds at the Kilava will find a way to harness Ebby's crystal matrix. And then he can let us know what he thinks needs to be done with his former shell.
I have grown to know you and your companions a little bit better over these last few days and weeks. And, well, if there is anything that I can do to be of help in this, I want you to know that I'm willing to and want to help as best I can.
You are not at all what I thought you were going to be, Richter. I am happy to know you.
Thank you. That means a lot to me.
I think for now we keep this between us. There's already so much animosity toward the Olmec people. I think if it was known widely that this destruction, these bands of destruction, came not at their bidding, but at their benefit, it could cause a lot of issues.
Yes. Yes, I suspect you're correct about that.
Well, that's a fine shield you bought.
Oh, thank you. I call her Shielda.
How you read my mind? I was just going to ask if you gave her a name yet.
100%. I give all of my weapons lady names. That way I'm never alone. Checkmate.
And it fits because the Lady of Shields was actually like a giant shield.
Was she really?
Yeah, Balbarel, giant shield.
Did you just bow barrel? bow barrel barrel?
No, I was like, it's not Barbarella. It's not Barbarella. Balbarel. Yes, he was a giant shield with giant, huge tracts of land.
Yes.
Oh, that's fascinating. You know, they never quite show that in the depictions or discuss it in the religious institutions.
I mean, we never met her. Unfortunately, you know, she it's true what some scholars believe that she died, you know, fighting inevitability. It's kind of a little esoteric knowledge, not widely known, but I can verify that it is true. We saw her body on the floor in the facility where we saw Iramil.
Well, I think that establishes you and your companions as probably the world's foremost experts on the lords and ladies at this point.
Oh hell, that's unnerving. That's disappointing, honestly.
Probably, yes, it is probably a bit disappointing.
It says so much that we know so little about them, and we're still the most experienced in the field.
I mean, I went to Bible school, but like, I flunked the 5th grade.
Awesome. As you guys continue to fly west towards Colinium, the day passes. You spend some time getting kind of acquainted with your weapons. If you want to use the staff, Nari, you need to attune to that. And Rousse, if you want to use this shield, it requires attunement as well.
No, I think I'll let Richter keep it. I won't steal it.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Richter, if you want to use the shield. Yes, my bad. Go ahead and attune to that as well. But time passes here on the ship. Before long, that line of desolation, the dead zone, is far in the rear, and the spirits aboard the ship kind of lighten back up again. People purposefully ignore the bloodstains on the deck right by the stairs. The rain did wash it away a little bit, but there's still definitely old lady blood that has seeped into the boards, and you got to change them. Nobody
got a chicken duck woman thing waiting for us.
Yes. Sorry, a little bad lip reading humor. Bushes of Love, a great song. Unless there's something else you guys want to do, we can actually fast forward the rest of the trip to arriving in Colinium.
But I wanted to play the license plate game.
Pine never change. Anybody who wants to see the city of Colinium can go to the wiki at this point. I don't have it on Roll20. I'm going to actually go to the wiki as well, just to make sure I can see what I'm talking about. If you go to the wiki, it's under Pavantis Disc 2 spoilers, and then you can actually go straight to Colinium there in Menorese off that map. As you sail through the sky, heading west, at some point you do cross over the let's see, I called it the new load. There's a big black box where I'm trying to read. The new strait, yes.
The new load.
At some point, you do fly over this new strait that separates Menorese from Racolia. And you are flying over the country of Menorese. You can see at one point you fly relatively close to another city on your way to Colinium. You can see it in the distance on the horizon, but you skip right past it and head all the way almost to the far west. You are on the west coast of Menorese, not the furthest west point, but you are on the coast. And you can see in the distance the city of Colinium. Pine and Richter, you guys have been here before. The city of Colinium is not large. It's got It's got three roads that come to it. One from the north, one from the east, and one from the south. As you approach the city, Almar was so big that to see Colinium, even though it is a city, it just seems kind of small, kind of not unimpressive because it's a beautiful city. But it does just kind of seem dainty almost as you approach.
Like Boise, Idaho.
Sure, yes, just like Boise. And just like Boise, there are a couple of suburbs on the outside of the city. As you approach the city, you can see that to the north of the city of Colinium is walled in on basically three sides, and then the west side is actually a port. But you can see on the north side of the city, there is as the road stretches further north, kind of heading along the coast, you can see there's a small village that kind of hugs the road. It's basically just like houses that line either side of the road. And to the south, you see the same. And then coming off the road to the east of the city, you see an even smaller little village. And Pine and Richter, you guys would know that these villages, the north village and the south village, they both have names. The north village is called Pillarin Village, and then the south village is actually called Moraville. And the village, the little kind of suburb there on the east side is so small it doesn't really have a name. It's just a small collection of houses. But then you actually start flying over Colinium itself. And Richter and Pine, you can see, looking from above, it's pretty easy to tell kind of the three different kind of areas of the city. Colinium is a strange city in that there's not really a, quote, bad side of town. There is the upper class, the kind of rich part of town, and then there's kind of the port district, and then there's the sort of more middle class part of town, and then basically all of the kind of the poorer people don't actually live in the city. They live in the smaller villages on the outside of the city. Colinium itself, the houses are beautiful. They are elegantly built, a lot of delicate woodwork and multiple colors of tile roofs dot the city. So you might have a blue roof.
I believe I also at one point said very Gothic in their architecture, so lots of pointed arches, not round ones, pointed.
Yes, lots of pointed arches. And like you might have a blue roof next to a green roof next to a red roof. Just very kind of looking down from above. It's very beautiful. Don't let the map on the wiki fool you, okay? There are a few things that dominate the city as you approach. One is the skyport, this large tower that sticks up into the air. You guys have been to skyports before. In fact, you left one in Almar. Three big towers come up into the sky. And off of each of the towers, you see these long piers, these long kind of docks that jut out over over the city, and you see airships tying off. Some airships are leaving, some airships are coming and are in the process of unloading their goods, that kind of thing. Next to the skyport, you see that there's like a market square, but a little bit further south of the skyport, there is the largest structure in the city.
When I see the market, I'm going to squint my eyes. Is Gerard already there?
Oh, 100% he is.
If you had a spyglass, make a perception check with disadvantage, double disadvantage.
I really am going to do that. Disadvantage?
Okay, that's fine.
But you know he's there. He's 190% there.
Dude, I rolled 2 22s.
At this distance, it's hard to tell, but you're pretty sure you can see this large, hairy form slowly kind of wandering through the market, and there seems to be a figure standing next to him, moving with him. Take that as you will. And then Gerard comes up and stands next to you and says, "Hey, nice view, huh, my friend?"
And I just look back. I look at him, and then back to the ground, and then back at him, and my eyes go wider and wider each time.
He's like, well, I'll leave you to it.
Big gulps, huh?
Yeah, exactly. A little bit further south of the skyport, you see the largest building in the city. It's kind of a castle complex. There are towers and walls that surround this structure. So there are these 3 towers that come up, and they go very high up into the sky. Higher than the skyport, actually. And these are elegantly built. You can see that from the tip of one tower, you see 2 banners. You see a golden banner and a sky blue banner. From the tip of another tower, you see a green banner and kind of a brownish orange banner. And then on the tip of the 3rd tower, you see 2 purple banners. Richter and Pine, you know this building is the Abbey of Balance. This is the headquarters of the theocrats of Menorese. This is where decisions are made that affect the entirety of the country. And the theocrats are a combination of 6 delegates or clerics, religious folk of some kind, appointees who represent 6 different lords and ladies. Well, technically 5 lords and ladies. Anyway. And they come together and they make decisions that basically rule the country of Menorese. A very beautiful, beautiful building. And just south of that, you see that there is like this park, this garden. It's got trees and grass. You can see at this distance there are some trails and things. And Pine and Richter, you know that is the garden of Lord Moshe. That is kind of his area here in the city that's dedicated to Lord Moshe. Real quick, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background about Menorese, just for our listeners. Really Cliff Notes version. The country of Menorese is ruled by theocrats, and there are 2 that represent judgment and mercy, which would be Lord Astraman, who represents justice and judgment, and Lady Nari, who represents mercy. They are kind of the lord and lady of justice and mercy. There is also 2 delegates from Cadriel who represent knowledge and magic, and we've dealt with Cadriel before. There's actually a library of Cadriel here in Colinium. And then there are 2 delegates, one from Lord Moshe and one from Lady Artarian, who is the Lady of Decay, and the other important part of life, which is the end of life, kind of the death and decay and leaching back into the soil to bring new life. So that is how the country is ruled, by a delegate from each of those different lords and ladies that come together in the Abbey of Balance. As you guys approach, the brass butterfly flies in low over the city and comes in towards the skyport.
Hey, if you guys are on the wiki, I don't want to spoil anything for our listeners, but check out the port in the northwest corner. Jeez, you laugh like
Paul is so proud of himself.
I kind of am.
You laugh like Muttley.
I do. Yeah, so for any of our patrons who want to go check this out on the wiki, go to Colinium and check out the Naval Yard. It's kind of fun.
Named after probably the greatest captain in Menorese history.
Yes, for sure. 100%.
No, in my opinion, he's the second greatest captain.
Yes, there will always be one captain to rule them all in my book.
I've seen better.
Y'all have problems.
I am with Pine. Anyway, as the brass butterfly comes flying in low over the city towards the skyport, you see dock workers getting ready with lines to toss them aside or to toss them over to the ship. You can see that the sailors are all coming to port on the ship to get ready to lash the ship up against this wharf. And the captain tells you, why don't you all...
Wharf.
None of the listeners will know the reference, or it might be a couple of leaps for them, but it was there.
So this is a joke for our patrons who can go access the wiki. So there we go. Yeah, the captain says, why don't you all go below and gather your things? We'll be docked up and secured in just a few minutes. And then I thank you all for your traveling with us aboard the Brass Butterfly.
Thank you so much, good captain. And again, we are so dreadfully sorry that some of our troubles followed us onto your ship. So please accept this, and I'm going to give him another 10 gold.
Thank you, good sir. You see, there's already sailors that are prying up the boards to change them
because the blood and sleep into the floors.
All right. So you guys could go grab your things down from below, and then as you come back up onto the deck, the ship is tied off to the dock. You're able to leave the ship and head down, either down the stairs or down like an elevator type of a contraption, and you step out of the skyport down onto the cobblestone streets of Colinium. Straight ahead as you step out, you see this large market square. And Richter and Pine, this is called the Market of the Martyrs. And then also Pine, especially, you know that when you were here a few years ago, trying to help kind of with the country of Menorese get it back on its feet, you stayed in an inn that is on the north edge of the Market of the Martyrs called the Belly Up Inn. And actually, as you step out, you can actually see across the market. You can see the front door of the Belly Up Inn. It's a little bit nicer inn, a little bit more expensive, but you spent a lot of time there. I think you spent almost a year living at that inn.
So what do you say? You want to go to the Belly Up? I mean, it's a really nice inn, but honestly, it's just the name just conjures this image. It's so funny in my mind. Big old belly up. It's
as long as I have someplace soft to lay my head, I'm okay with that.
Well, I mean, let's secure a place to stay for the night. Forget about that and find a different place later. And
it's funny because it's true.
I mean, we could. I think it might be useful. It might be helpful to check in with the Library of Cadriel, see if they have any leads on where the earthquakes are originating from. I don't know. What other contacts do you think we should make in this city?
Of course, you would go to the Library of Cadriel as your first stop. I mean, for my part, I usually went to the Lounging Hound Tavern, and oftentimes you could hear a good amount of rumors there. A lot of information that came in relative to our work with the with more of the information gathering and espionage side of the military.
I could go for a drink. I'll accompany you.
Does the Hounds, the Lounging Hound, does it have rooms?
Richter, you would know it does not. It is straight up just a bar. They have good food there, though.
Yeah, it's just a watering hole, but they had a delicious fried fish dish. You would be blown away. It's such a simple thing, but truly delicious.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Lounging Hound technically could keep us overnight if we drank like a fish like this guy, huh? Like this guy, huh? And I start like jabbing you in the ribs. Stay there all night drunk, pass it on the floor.
It does seem like Pine has a bit of a better understanding of where we should rest our heads, if you know what I mean.
No, yeah, and that's fine. That's yes.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind. If we secure a place, I'd like to take a little ride around the city on Crumbles, if that's okay. But I think that we need to come up with a plan. And I'm sure we should have probably talked about this on the ship, but there were just so many excursions taking up all our time.
Did you do that sky snorkeling? It was amazing.
Was amazing, and those flying manta eels were just beautiful.
My beard is getting a little too long, and it couldn't create a good seal, so I kept getting clouds up my nose, I guess.
Too much oxygen. I've heard that can cause problems.
Anyway, so I think Library of Cadrel. Any other ideas? Please throw them out here.
No, we can begin with the library. That's fine.
Or we could split up. Some of us could go to the tavern. Some more could go to the library.
I'd be very happy to go to the library.
I mostly was just giving Pine here a hard time. Our styles have always been a bit different. He's been a bit more measured and one to seek knowledge and wisdom, whereas I was always driven by, more of a...
Too late, buddy. You're going to the tavern. We're going to the library. Stop trying to backtrack out of it.
I just get lonely when I drink alone.
Oh,
well, the belly up. Honestly, what I liked about the belly up too is it. If you're watching a movie about Sherlock Holmes, how all the men sit around in a room with newspapers and pipes and stuff, and it's like a gentleman's thing. The belly up has one of those, but it's not so toxic. Anybody can come in.
Yes, yeah. No, this is fine. Yeah, and the belly up is nice and close to the skyport. It makes sense.
all right. You guys start walking across the Market of the Martyrs. As you guys walk across the Market of the Martyrs, you actually see that Gerard is actually in the process of already setting up his tent, and Porthos has already found a space in the shade to lounge and chew his cud. And he kind of waves as you walk by.
Are there two Gerards?
Of course not. There's only one. Duh, it's Gerard.
It was fun spending some time with you on that ship. And he waves.
Do you mind if Crumbles hangs out with you for a little bit?
Oh, of course. Come, my friend. Come.
Yeah, I'll leave Crumbles with Gerard because it's literally just outside of this place we're getting a room. So,
as long as they're not in heat.
As you guys approach the Belly Up Inn, you see that it is a plaster walled building. It's got very intricately carved doors, and also the window frames are a dark wood. This place looks very very posh, very nice. There's little garden boxes out in front with bushes and flowers growing. It looks like it's very well maintained and taken care of. And Pine, you would know that the proprietor of the Belly Up Inn is a woman named Hudley, and she is she's probably middle-aged. She's got blonde hair. It's always kind of tied back. She's short, probably about 4 feet tall, stocky, but very very delicate and kind of agile on her feet. Not what you would expect from kind of her build. She seems quite smooth, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. You guys approach the front door of this inn. You guys can go ahead and walk on in. I even have a door that you guys can open.
Amazing.
Sorry to our listeners who couldn't see that. It is amazing. As you guys walk into the Belly Up Inn, you see that you walk into this large common room, dark wood floors. There's a large fireplace on the kind of on the eastern wall or the western wall with a rack of antlers. You can see that this section of the bar, of the common room, actually, this is a 2-story building, but actually the The ceiling above the common room is extra high. There's actually a balcony at the north end that looks down over the common room, where there are lots of bedrooms up on the second floor. There's like these two big chandeliers hanging down over the common room. There's a bar on the right side. There's some tables in the middle. You see people sitting and eating and talking. Everyone here is dressed relatively nicely. You can see that there is, it looks like a city watchman or something is in here. It looks like he's having a little drink, maybe on his rounds or something. You see a lot of folk just enjoying their time here. You see there's a bartender standing behind the bar getting people drinks and anyone who orders food. And Pine, you see Hudley, this kind of stocky middle-aged woman standing behind a desk kind of on the left side as you enter. And she says, "Welcome to the Belly Up Inn." Oh, Mr. Pine, as she comes and steps around the desk, and she steps up to you, Mr. Pine, and she kind of demurely gives you her hand.
I will say, "Good Lady Hudley," and I will give her a kiss on the hand, as a gentleman should.
And she kind of turns her head. "Oh, Mr. Pine," as she pulls her hand back, she says, "Oh, Mr. Pine, it is so good to have you back. What brings you back to Colinium?"
Wait, I'm sorry. How old is this woman?
Oh, middle-aged, probably in her 40s.
Nice.
My daughter's age.
She winks at you.
Let's see, half my age plus 7, I guess.
She says, "What brings you back to Colinium? Will you be staying with us again? An extended stay? I believe your room is still available."
Oh, really? No. Hopefully you've cleaned it since I was last here. Oh.
"I had to change the sheets," and she winks at you.
What is going on?
Took so many loads on loads and loads of washing machines to get it taken care of.
She pinches your cheek. She reaches up and she kind of, she doesn't pinch you. She reaches up and she kind of rubs your cheek a little bit. Just got a little caress. She's like, "Oh, I love to make you blush, Mr. Pine."
I don't know what's happening. Me and my friends.
Is it our turn to explain the birds and the bees to you?
I'm a father of 3, thank you.
She says, "Oh, you'll have to excuse this little banter that we have back and forth. Oftentimes, Mr. Pine would come back to the inn late at night and would take his meals alone, and I would join him sometimes, and we'd talk and chat, and we developed a bit of a relationship. And I like to pretend that it was more than it was, just to get a rise out of him." She says, "Will you and your companions be looking for rooms, looking for meals?"
I think this would be a great place for us to stay while we're in town. I don't anticipate us being here long, but yes, while we're here, we will be wanting rooms and meals.
Yeah, Hudley says, "Would you like rooms on the first floor, or would you like rooms on the second floor? We have some available wherever."
Do we each want our own room? Honestly, so Hudley...
I think Mr. Pine wants his own room.
Shut up!
She actually reaches down and she hands you a key, Pine, and she says, second floor, last room on the left."
Damn, she knows where that is.
I don't know what's going on. And Matt does not know what's going on.
Okay, so you can make it. Anybody besides Pine can make an insight check. I love the idea that Pine really doesn't know what's going on.
Rousse got a 21.
Damn it, Nari only got an 11.
Richter, did you want to make an insight check or no? You're just laughing along. No, it's fine.
Yeah, I'll make an insight check. Why not? Not that I'm good at these. 19.
Nari. Oh yeah, they banged. With year 11. Rousse and Richter, you guys both can tell that she loves the reaction that she gets from Pine. The blustery, kind of, I don't know, the pink cheeks and everything. Yeah, she's just a flirt, and Pine is an easy target. And the rest of you, would you like to share rooms, or would you like your own rooms? We have nice sized beds. We even have a few rooms that you can share if you'd rather bunk up.
Given what occurred en route, perhaps we should pair up at the least.
I mean, if Pine doesn't have to pair up, why do I need to pair up? That seems
I'm fine pairing up.
So, Pine, you know that she gave you the key to your room that you were in before. It's a large room. It's got a big, king size bed in it. So definitely room for 2 people if you wanted to share that bed. But it's definitely one of the nicer rooms. It's got like a big desk in it. It's got like a big wardrobe for all of your clothes and all of your gear to stash in there. It's a very nice room.
Honestly, we could all stay in my room if people were okay sleeping on the floor. It's a giant bed, but probably wouldn't comfortably fit more than 2 of us.
Oh, I don't think that bed is long enough for me.
Hudley looks aghast at you for saying sleep on the floor in her very nice inn. Mr. Pine, how dare you?
What? You know,
Why would you
Hudley,
want anyone
I'm okay
in the
if-
room with us, Mr. Pine?
She says, as long as it starts, it can end on the floor. That's fine, but at least start in a bed.
Oh my goodness.
At least she has manners.
No, Hudley, so listen, as you know, ambassador to Tabery, ambassador from Tabery, all that, yes. But I've also been an adventure. We've talked about this. I've had all kinds of crazy adventures, right?
Of course, yes.
Well, this guy's ex-boyfriend broke into our room a couple nights ago, and then we had to throw him overboard from 20,000 feet.
It was actually a really good
20,000
story.
Well, that's really high.
That's really high for an airship.
I'm not very good at estimating distances, so probably 2 miles.
2 miles is 10,000 feet. It's 12,000.
So I don't know, 100 yards? I said, I'm really bad at distances.
The ground was small from where we were.
Yeah, ground was very small.
She says, well, I can assure you that the City Watch actually is constantly on patrol here in the Market of the Martyrs, and there's nowhere safer in the whole of the city than the Belly Up Inn. I can assure you.
Are there rooms nearby my room?
Of course.
If we're all going to be sleeping in our own room or even doubling up, as long as we're within, shouting distance, okay, if anybody, let me tell you this, okay? If anybody from Howling...
Jesus Christ, I'm already so annoyed with this man. The customer service in me is like,
You see Hudley is just smiling, grinning from ear to ear at this interaction. She is loving it.
Let's just say this. If anybody from Howling Talon comes looking for Rousse, you've never seen him. But if anybody from Howling Talon comes looking for Pine, you can send him my way.
I understand. Yes, I don't know who Rousse is.
Rousse is this guy.
Rousse waves.
Oh, okay.
So good to tell her that and then say you've never seen him. That'll do a lot under torture.
Wait, torture? What? Huh? Torture?
This guy's name is Joff.
All I'm saying is if she's getting tortured to tell us who is where, why'd you introduce her to him and say don't tell anybody about him?
She sizes you up, Nari, and she says, who's going to be torturing me?
Nobody will be torturing you. Come on.
Nobody. Obviously, no one. No one.
She reaches behind her desk and pulls out this wicked-looking little mace and sets it on the desk. And she's like, "Nobody's going to be torturing me."
Right. Yes. Of course.
Right. Oh, anyway, yes. So this conversation has gone on way longer than I expected. There are rooms available. Yes. So Pine's room has a king size bed right across the hall. There's a room that has 2 single beds, and then there's another king size bed, a little bit larger room, and then a little bit smaller room. So that should not be a problem to get rooms all close to each other. As you guys get your rooms all situated, you guys can decide who's going to sleep where later. Hudley asks if you would like to get some lunch before you venture out on the city.
Well, yeah.
All right. She asks if you would like a private dining or would you like to sit at the bar?
We should sit at the bar and, get to know the locals.
Yeah, the bar sounds great.
All right. Yes, you guys all kind of belly up to the belly up bar.
See, it's a cute name, right? Like a big belly up at the bar and bellies. Tummies are funny.
All right, yeah, you guys kind of belly up to the bar. You guys are sitting there having your meal. You see there's other people sitting at the bar nearby. You can hear like just some snippets of conversations. You hear a couple people who are just kind of complaining about, just typical things you might hear at a bar. Somebody saying like, oh man, the Marchioness, she's got too much power. I'm telling you, she's got too much power. And then the person says, no, there's 6 of them. The theocrats, they've got it all under control. Don't worry about the Marchioness. They'll make sure everything keeps running smoothly in our country. You hear one person complaining, yes, they actually had to kick out of the city. Another small group of them had come in. And somebody says, why don't they just stay in their villages where they belong? And that's kind of what you're hearing besides like the normal, like, so anyway, I was at the market the other day and I saw this woolly ox and I got this egg, right? So just kind of random conversations, but you pick up a couple of...
It's not an egg.
We've been eating them all along.
We were so wrong.
But they taste so good. Would you eat an owl pellet if it tasted like a really good omelet?
I mean, yeah, obviously, like we eat such weird things. Like that's not even that weird.
All right. Okay, you guys enjoy this nice meal. And afterwards,
well, it sounds like I'll whisper to my friends and say, well, it sounds like there's still not balance among the clerics.
So, Pine, real quick, a little behind the scenes, not behind the scenes, a little flashback for you, Pine. Back when you were trying to help out the country of Menorese a few years ago, kind of in that 5-year gap that we kind of skipped over, we talked a little bit about. You were here, and there was they had recreated the theocracy, including the 6 different clerics, the Marquise and the Marchioness. There's that's just the name of the different clerics, the different theocrats. There was one, the Marchioness Judge Annette, who was actually representing Asterman, justice and judgment. She was the one that I think, Pine, you had the most trouble with because you could see her manipulating and controlling the other, maybe more timid members of this council of 6. And I think she's probably the one that you actually got fed up with more than anything before you left. So it would have been the Marchioness Annette, and she is called Judge Annette because she represents Asterman of justice and judgment.
She's more a politician than a religious leader. She kind of defeats the purpose. She has ambitions, and she was hard to negotiate with. And didn't seem to care too much about the foundations of this country and cared a lot more about her own legacy.
Well, sounds like one of them religious types. I'm ready to beat him up.
No, that's the point. She wasn't one of those religious types. She's like straight up like lobby, loving, dark money, politics, all that.
Yes, you could at least count on the religious types to be consistent.
And that's the thing is that literally the theocracy of Menorese was not run by theocrats anymore, in name only, really. The members of the theocracy of the kind of the 6 clerics, some of them actually were devotees or acolytes of the Lord or Lady that they represent. But that Annette, Judge Annette, had nothing to do with Asterman until very quickly, like very shortly, right before Menorese was reformed as a theocracy. Well, as you guys finish your meal, did you guys decide where you wanted? Did you want to go to the Library of Cadriel? Did you guys want to go the Lounging Hound, or did you want to go somewhere else?
Let's do Lounging Hound for dinner, and then go to the library for the afternoon.
It'll probably take us all afternoon to try to get to the secret part of the library.
Oh, man. I can only imagine.
I think at this point we figured it out. We just gotta kind of give the code. It's a double finger guns.
I don't know how to alphabetize a Menorese.
Spoiler alert, there is a puzzle. And I'm very proud of this one.
Hardly, question quickly. We've heard rumors that there's earthquakes and tremors and things in the area. Have you heard where they may be more strongly focused?
All I've heard is that it's relatively close to here. Somewhere here close. It's not as bad in the rest of the nation and the rest of the country, but here close to Colinium and just north, kind of between Colinium and then Brevidine, which is kind of northeast of here. That is where they seem to be centered at. That's all I know. But I mean, apparently. There hasn't really been too much damage here in Colinium, but an occasional, broken bottle, or I've heard rumors that some of the houses outside of the city, the less well-built ones, they don't stand up quite as well to the tremors, but you'll probably feel them before the end of the day. In all honesty, they've become quite common.
Tell me what's the story with the villages? It seems like there was always talk about improvements or integration into the city or, walls, but nothing's changed. In fact, from the air, it looked like maybe it even got worse.
It has gotten worse. The argument is keeping the citizens of Colinium safe from the riffraff and the
illegals.
Oh my goodness.
They're flying over here in their airships.
It's a good thing there's a wall.
The unsavory folk. Well, and you all know we can't trust those of Moraville. I mean, they're Almerian. Pine and Richter, you would know that the citizens of the village of Moraville, which is the southern one, a lot of those were, what's the word I'm looking for?
Refugees.
Yeah, refugees from Almar. So Moraville has like a kind of Almerian feel to it, that little village. And there's always been a little bit of mistrust between the rest of Colinium and Moraville.
Yeah, the history that we came up with for that was that when Almar itself, the city, was conquering its neighbors in Rocolia, that some refugees came to Menorese seeking, asylum. And they weren't allowed into the city, so they built a shantytown community outside the walls south of the city.
And we're talking 55 years ago when the empire was first being formed. So Moraville's been here for a while, but there's still that stigma associated. So
their children are Menorese, but like the pure-blooded Menorese don't see them as actual citizens.
No, unfortunately, at this point, it's more Colinium than anything. It's protecting the people of Colinium from the riffraff. I mean, think about even Pillarin village up north. They're Menorese, but they're not of the city.
Yeah, there is a certain prestige of living in Colinium that doesn't exist in the rest of the country. Colinium is kind of an anomaly in the country of Menorese. And maybe it's just because it's the seat of power. Maybe because this is where decisions are made. Maybe that might have something to do with it. And it's also a very old city, and the buildings are old and beautiful, the old architecture with the Gothic pointed arches everywhere.
It's also on the coast, and those coastal elites.
Yes. Yes.
You're really not selling Colinium on me.
I'm not from Colinium. I'm from farther west.
Yes, as was I. It was always a little too political here.
You're from the west? I thought you were from the east.
Well, yes, no, yes.
Oh, you're not from Colinium, okay.
Yes, just being not from Colinium. No, yes, I was from the east side, which was significantly better than the west.
I don't know what it was like where you were from, but it was, honestly, it was a point of pride not being from Colinium. Just the way that some people saw it. That was when I was growing up. So hardly present. Obviously, I've grown up and matured and all that. So, but that's the way it is out in the boondocks.
Well, of course, and actually, having been raised here in Colinium, there is a certain pride of being of Colinium. There's a prestige that just kind of suffuses the air here.
But we always kicked your ass in football.
Hudley waves you goodbye and kind of blows you a kiss, Mr. Pine, as you leave the Belly Up Inn and head over to the library here in Colinium, the Library of Cadriel. As you approach the outside of the building, the library here is not as big as the library was in Arkelvy. This is a smaller library. You know that there are other larger libraries in other cities here in Menorese, but this one is still substantial. As you approach, you can see that there are double doors, 2 sets of double doors. As you walk into this large building, you see that there are just rows and rows and rows of bookcases. As you step in, you can see it's empty except for what looks like one librarian who is kind of busily pulling a book down off the shelf and looking at it. So she is slender. She's got, her skin is covered in like a kind of a light blue, almost grayish blue scales. She is wearing robes of Cadriel. You can see she's got a pin or a brooch on her robes of the face of Cadriel, which is like an open mouth, 2 eyes and an open mouth. Which you would know as Lord Cadriel, kind of the Lord of open source knowledge. And she is, she doesn't even recognize that you've come in as you walk into the library.
Do you think we should say something to her?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. She kind of, is she cute to you? Maybe you should go talk to her.
I wasn't even saying that. I was just more thinking that.
What?
We didn't do very well last time we were in the Library of Cadriel, you know? I just don't want to be embarrassed.
Well, okay, well, then, let's go talk to her. Let's ask for let's ask for a book that maybe is a little off limits, maybe a little, and then and see what she says about where we might find a puzzle or something.
Nari will sashay up and then say, "Excuse me, ma'am, do you have a book on necromancy?"
You can see she's reading a book. You can make a perception check to see what she's reading on, but she kind of shakes her head and looks over and she's like, pardon me. Welcome to the Library of Cadriel.
Okay, I got a 27 perception.
My name is Marchioness Librarian Genevieve. Welcome to the library.
Holy crap!
You recognize she's reading a book. It's about botany. And you see, you really quickly glance and you can see like a couple words talking about redleaf and the trees of redleaf. Anyway, yes, this is Marchioness Librarian Genevieve. Her introducing herself as the Marchioness, you would know that she is one of the 6 clerics that runs the country, but she's also a librarian of Cadriel, so she does spend her time here in the library.
This is like going to Burger King and then like your senator takes your order.
And seeing the Burger King?
I was going to say your senator takes your order.
But also you saw the Burger King.
She's like, oh, necromancy. We don't have books on necromancy here. And then she kind of like, she kind of says, you can see that she's like stumbling over her words as she's trying to think of what to say, and she says, "No, perhaps you'd rather take a class, right? We offer classes here, right? Maybe you'd rather take a class."
We would love a class, please.
Yeah, of course.
Even without an insight check, you get the impression this woman is absent-minded as can be. She is absorbed in her study, and you guys showing up and talking to her has totally thrown her off her game.
We actually have the Lord and Lady Cadriel passport. It's like that restaurant McMiniman's does, where each time you go to a new library, they give you a stamp when you go through it.
Yes, it's very exciting. Do you have a stamp and a secret hidden passage for us to go down?
When you say a secret hidden passage, a perception check is not needed. She kind of jolts and she goes, no, but perhaps. And then she kind of motions kind of further into the building with her hand. She says, perhaps you'd like to take a class.
Yes, we'll take a class.
Oh, well, we have a listing of all of our classes over there on that bulletin board. So, Rousse, you move past these rows of books. This lady, the Marchioness, Marchioness Genevieve, she, as you guys walk past her, you can almost hear her sigh, like almost like a congratulatory sigh, like, you did well, Genevieve, you did well. And then she goes right back to her book.
Pine actually was going to walk up to her and tell her straight up. It's like, good Lady Marchioness, you did wonderfully.
She looks at you and she kind of squints her eyes and she says,
You might be giving her an overinflated self of ego, dude.
I'm trying to instill in her some confidence so she can stand up to the other Marchioness of law.
You see her look at you and say, Temrid Pine? Temrid Pine, you're back in Colinium?
Only briefly.
She says, oh, well, Mr. Pine, welcome back to Colinium. Are you going to make an appeal at the Abbey?
I don't know what about. I mean...
Well, you were always there before.
Right, and then...
Always making your pitches and everything?
And always being ignored. Okay, go on.
She kind of nods at that. She says, yes, always being ignored. Oh, well. And then she goes back to her book. Rousse and Nari, you guys are up at this bulletin board. Richter, did you go in too?
Yeah, I went in.
All right, Richter, you are up at the bulletin board as well. And you guys can see that on this bulletin board, as Pine is tapping on bricks somewhere else in the building, looking for secret passages, you see that there are a few different pieces of paper. And you know how like classic piece of paper with a listing, and then there's they cut the paper at the bottom to pull on tabs, right?
It's Craigslist.
There are you can pull a little tab off, to remind you of when the class is. Looks like there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 different classes or presentations that are going on here at the Library of Cadriel with different times. You see that one of them is called Murderous Mathematics: Why Dividing by Zero is a Very Bad Idea. There's another one called Head Full of Hammers: The Biology of a Hangover. There's another one called Munster and Commander: A Brief History of Heroic Cheeses. There is a 4th one that is From Absorb Elements to Zone of Truth: An Introduction to Abjuration. And then the last one says My Feet Hurt: A Presentation of One Man's Trek from Delatal to Northport.
So we have to take all of these classes and pass them, and then we can get to the secret part?
There are 5 different pieces of paper, 5 different classes or presentations. Murderous Mathematics: Why Dividing by Zero is a Very Bad Idea. Head Full of Hammers: The Biology of a Hangover. Munster and Commander: A Brief History of Heroic Cheeses. From Absorb Elements to Zone of Truth: An Introduction to Abjuration. And My Feet Hurt: A Presentation of One Man's Trek from Delatal to Northport.
Wait a second. Zone of Truth's not abjuration.
Huzzah!
Do I need to make a Arcana check for Pine to know that? Because Matt knows that.
No, because no. It's like, well, Matt, good job. You solved the puzzle, but your character didn't, so you're out of luck. No, you go and you reach up and you start to pull on the tab for that class, and as you do, a doorway opens. And the whole wall kind of moves down. It's kind of loud here in this quiet building. Clunk, clunk, clunk. It's not smooth tech like you were used to in like the facilities of the ancients. But straight ahead down this narrow hallway, you can see it looks like a lift or an elevator, and the only direction it can go is down.
Okay, and then Pine says, "Wait a second, Commander's not a cheese," and I'll pull on that tab too.
And you now have a ticket to a class. As you are looking at this lift, congratulations, you guys have solved this puzzle of Cadriel to access the secret hidden library of Lady Cadriel beneath the library here in the city of Colinium. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight. All right, guys. Well, thanks for playing. That was a blast. I had so much fun tonight.
What the hell was going on today? Something was in my water. I don't know.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for listening. go check us out on Discord. You can join with us and chat with us. And we really like just the community that we're building over there. It's been a lot of fun getting to know you, our listeners. Also, don't forget, we do have a shop, but no scrubs because I want it that way. And they were unpretty. Also, Patreon, if you want to see the city of Colinium, kind of what we were talking about, what we were discussing, and also hear the Library of Cadriel, then join the Patreon. And at a certain level, you get access to the wiki and the maps. And of course, you get all the bonus episodes. You get our chats. You get our character sheets and all the fun stuff. But until we get together next time, we hope you have a great time.